Hi guys, welcome to today's webinar on Graphical Dashboards. Thank you for joining us today. A quick reminder to all our viewers today. Please keep your systems on mute for the entire duration of the webinar. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us by typing it out in the panel provided to you for the chat. Do let us know if you can hear us by sending us a quick yes in the chat panel. We know that graphical data has many large benefits over traditional text-based spreadsheet design. And conducting today's session is Abhishek Dua, who will tell us what the advantages of a well-balanced visual appeal and functionality are, and how it provides clarity because it's easier to absorb and understand a chart or graph better than it is to understand raw numbers, how graphical data makes it less confusing for the viewers because there's no need to process numbers which can quickly become overwhelming. Abhishek is a qualified chartered accountant and company secretary. He has worked across the entire spectrum of finance and accounts functions across various industries like F&B, manufacturing, media, real estate, trading, and IT. His functional expertise include financial strategy, management consultancy, service delivery, financial planning and analysis, financial controllership, cost reduction, process reengineering, creating insightful MIS with key metrics, creating automated models, product design with financial controls and accounting operations. At MyCFO, Abhishek has been involved in helping our clients with strategic planning, cash flow management, performance measurement, and finance department organization. Prior to joining the MyCFO team, Abhishek has worked for various organizations like the Publicis Group, Sahara Group, and the Triton Group, where he helped set up processes as well as build robust MIS dashboards and Excel models for the management. Abhishek also has experience in establishing budgeting and rolling forecast processes and models, building new costing templates, implementation of SAP BPC. Abhishek has worked with clients across India, Singapore, and Africa. Thank you, Abhishek, for taking this webinar today. Over to you.
Thank you, Ori. Thank you for such a nice introduction. Before getting on to the topic, I can see a few people cannot hear the voice. Just okay now. Thank you, Ori. Thank you once again for giving such a nice introduction. Before going on to the topic, I would like to thank you everyone for joining this webinar, for taking out time and joining this webinar. I can still see that people cannot. I can still see a few people cannot hear the voice. I would request them. I would request them if they can check their system, because a lot of people can hear the voice. So yes. So I would like to thank everyone for taking out their time and joining this session. So before the topic starts, I would like to ask everyone: have you seen the movie called Now You See Me Too? There's a very nice dialogue in that particular, it's not just the dialogue; it's the opening line of the movie, which says, "The closer you look, the less you see." However, the movie is basically related to magicians, magic, and the magician's trick. It is the closer you look, the less you see is good for that particular movie. However, if in the financial world, I have changed it, I've tweaked it a bit, and and it says like this: the more you look, the less you see. So guys, I've to take it forward, I would just like to stop my video and continue it on an audio basis so that we can continue it. So guys, can you still hear me? Okay. So what exactly are we going to cover in this particular webinar? We will be quickly going through the introduction of dashboards. We will understand what a dashboard is, why do we need dashboards, the advantages of using a particular dashboard, the pitfall which we face while creating a particular dashboard, and the rules that we should follow while creating an effective and a meaningful dashboard. Finally, we'll have a few takeaways from this dashboarding webinar and what lies in the future of BI dashboards and a few vendors with which we have worked, and some of the experiences. And I would also like to share some of the experiences which we had while working with these vendors. So what is a dashboard? Here are some of the codes which actually tells us how important it is to present the numbers correctly and meaningfully so that the end user can understand it properly and correctly. Out of these three, my personal favorite is one by John Tukey, which says the greatest value of a picture is when it forces us to notice what we never expected to see. So what is a dashboard? A dashboard is basically a visual display of the most important information, consolidated and arranged on a single screen so that you can view the information, you can monitor the company or the organization or the activities at a glance. A dashboard gives you a holistic picture. But again, why do we need dashboards? With companies going global, companies expanding themselves into various fields, increasing complexity of the nature of business, it has become essential for the management to focus on key things, on key drivers, rather than going into micromanagement. So why do we need dashboard? We need dashboard to reduce complexity. For example, a company is spread across various locations across world. So if we are going to present the details, or for example, if we are presenting the sales revenues of a particular company across geographies in just a table, it will not suffice the requirement of the management. Though the data will be presented, but the data will be presented to the management, but again, the impact of the data or the analysis of the data cannot be seen clearly with just a table of sales or revenues or certain expenses of the whole company. We need dashboard to reduce complexity in such an environment. It is required to consolidate huge information that is available as on date for such big companies. With almost all the dashboards now linked to the ERP, the dashboards helps us to get real-time information and take a real-time decision instead of doing an analysis at the month end after the monthly financials are finalized. Dashboarding has a lot of advantages. With graphical charts, it helps you to assess the trends and understand where the market or the sales or the production is going. It helps you to consolidate information and thus increase your decision-making ability. With dashboards, you can easily drill down and relate various key metrics to each other. For example, you can drill down to right from the top revenue to product-based revenue to brand-based revenue to company-based revenue to region-based revenue. With this drill down function availability, you can right from the top management to the executives. Everyone can see each and everything. However, the top management is more interested in key parameters. So dashboards help them to get those key parameters at a glance. It helps in organizing the bulk data with a facility to drill down in detail whenever you require. It helps you to organize the data and present the information that can easily be consumed by the relevant audience. The best part about a dashboard is nothing but it can be customized. Whatever you want, wherever you want, just with a click of a button, you can customize the data. You can customize the dashboard. Further, with dashboards, you can reduce IT redundancy and resource wastage through on-demand real-time reporting. You can, with dashboards, you can adopt just-in-time inventory to reduce manufacturing and inventory costs. Role-based views, self-service capabilities can further enhance your business. With dashboards, the dashboards have become an easy way to take real-time decisions rather than waiting till the month end. So overall, dashboards has got many advantages. But is dashboarding too hard? Why do we fail to create an effective dashboard? Why do we always have a need to change the dashboard frequently? The thing is how to communicate quantitative business data effectively in the form of graphs is a skill. It's not too simple. It's not too common. Despite the huge amount of graphs or charts available to us, it doesn't come naturally. Designing individual graphs is simple compared to designing an entire dashboard. Let me show you a few examples. How does it look? The color combination is fine, but from a user perspective, I don't know which data needs to be seen first. It is filled with data and graphs. The most critical information does not attract the attention. It gives out excessive information than required to make a decision. Another one. It gives out transaction level data, which is good but not necessary for a dashboard. You know, even the best dashboard or the dashboard software in the world will not produce a useful dashboard if it does not incorporate effective visual design. Any dashboard that fails to deliver the information that people need clearly and quickly will never be used. No matter how cute the gauges, the meters, or the traffic lights, or how jazzy it looks. Effective dashboards are the product of informed visual design. A dashboard's entire purpose is to communicate important information clearly, accurately, efficiently. But most dashboards either say too little, or if they say that does not meet the criteria of the user. So let us look at a few pitfalls of what we face while creating a dashboard. First one is exceeding the boundaries of a single screen. Like in the first example we have seen, it had too much of data in it. One should always remember while creating a dashboard that less is more. In one of our clients where we were implementing dashboards, we have ensured that the management sees only 4 graphs, maximum 4 graphs in a single screen. However, in the first example that I gave, you can see n number of graphs in that. The graphs which we gave In that we gave, along with the graphs, we gave certain filters, we gave certain drop downs, so there is a selection criteria available to them so that they can play with it, they can make changes in it, and what if analysis is possible. Second pitfall is ineffectively highlighting what's important. In again, going back to the first example that I gave, the dashboard had a lot of data, the dashboard had a lot of graphs, but can we check here which one to look at in the beginning? How to go through this dashboard? If we do not highlight what's important, the user will go from everywhere to anywhere. If we don't highlight what's important, the dashboard loses its value, its importance, just like in this particular example it is. Cluttering the screen again with useless decoration and useless graphs again loses the focus of the user. The fourth one, the data that is being represented needs to be arranged properly. It needs to be arranged in a logical sequence. The more logical it is, the more easier it is for the user to depict and understand. For example, one of the dashboards which we created for one of our clients in an F&B sector, you can see the dashboard that we created has net sales, food cost, restaurant EBITDA, orders, and actual delivery percentage. For an F&B sector, these are 4 to 5 parameters that are most important. It starts, the thinking of the CEO, the thinking of the owner of a restaurant starts with what are the sales, what is the food cost, and then at the end, what is the restaurant EBITDA. If they want to drill down and analyze how they can increase the EBITDA, they go to number of orders, their APC, SSG, and what is the delivery percentage. If the data is arranged sequentially, it can lead to a logical conclusion. The reason for such an arrangement is how to take a decision on the restaurant, and these are the key parameters for it. Another pitfall which we normally face while creating a dashboard is misusing or overusing colors. Usage of colors is important because it attracts attention of the user. However, overusing it or misusing it or combining two colors which are too jazzy will take away the attention from the user. Designing an unappealing or having a poorly designed visual display. It becomes difficult to make a person stick to it longer. The visual display of the dashboard forces the user to come back to it again and again. The better it is, the more are the chances for the user to come back again and again and use it for their purpose. In one of our clients, which is a trading company, the first screen or the first page of the dashboard that we created were only 5 parameters, starting with revenue to contribution to EBITDA to working capital and the C2C cycle and their trends. Of course, there were drill down techniques which were available. The CEO and the management can drill down and they can look at the from sales, they can go to product level, they can go to brand level. But initially it started with only 5 parameters. The display is an important part of a dashboard, and an unappealing or poorly designed dashboard will always take away the attention of the user. In all the dashboards which we have created, we make sure that there is a room for either management commentary or remarks. Something like this. It was created for one of our clients. It allows the user to understand the data more correctly and conclude on the downfall trends or upward increase in a particular item. supplying inadequate data or data without any remarks can make it difficult for the user to comprehend and making it lose interest in the dashboard. A graph represents the full history. A line graph or a bar graph, it represents full history or the life of a particular cycle or the life of a particular product. We can see seasonability. Of in a particular graph. If there is a downfall with remarks, we can understand why there is a downfall. These additional remarks or these additional context or these additional data provided to the management along with the graphs or the dashboard will help a person understand the graphs or depict or bring out the meaning from it in a better way. Again, using a wrong graph to present the data will make no sense for the user of dashboard. For example, the revenues should always be shown in line graph to help the user understand the trend, whereas to understand the variance between the budgets and actual, one should use a bar graph. When one intends to present it geographically, he or she should use a pie chart or a hierarchy chart or a map chart. Some other pitfalls of dashboard are excessive details or excess data providing of excess data. So these are some of the pitfalls which a person normally faces while creating a dashboard. Excessive cluttering, poorly designed dashboard, and misuse of color. These are some of the things which a person should avoid while creating an effective and a meaningful dashboard. Let me take you through few rules what we need to follow while creating an effective and a meaningful dashboard. First rule, and the most important rule. This rule sets the base of creating a dashboard. Know your audience. Until and unless you know your audience well, you cannot create a dashboard that will cater to their demands. The requirement of a board is different from that of a CEO, from that of a department head. So it's very important to know your audience. Do you think a CFO really needs to know how the servers are operating, whether they are operating at a 95% capacity? Think about the audience, target a single type of user, and just display the data specific to that user. If the dashboard is going to be used by executive team to monitor the company financials, or if it is used by the marketing team to monitor the daily activities, then the dashboard needs to be created in that particular fashion. The data inside the dashboard has to be according to that particular user base. Often while creating a dashboard, this step is overlooked. And as I mentioned, this sets the base of creating a dashboard. If this particular rule, if this particular step is not followed properly, the dashboard that you create will have a mix of data, which will be relevant to a few users, and some part of the data will be relevant to a particular set of users, and some other part will be relevant to some other set of users. Let me take you through a few examples. This is one of the dashboards that we created for a legal head. With the usage of traffic lights, you can see that this particular dashboard only caters to the requirements of a legal head, whether the service tax, whether the monthly TDS, whether the PF, PD, other legal requirements, company law requirements are being properly catered to or not. Another example, this is the dashboard that we created for a CEO and a CFO of a hotel. It just gives one particular graph and a few data points, but it has the capability to check it gives the overall picture about a hotel. The few parameters that needs to be seen in a particular in the dashboard of a particular hotel are occupancy percentage, ARR, the revenue, the variable cost, fixed cost, everything can be seen in this particular dashboard, in this just one particular graph. With the help of radio buttons, we can provide all these data. Another example of a dashboard that we created for a production head. This particular dashboard only caters to the requirement of a production head, giving him details about the actual production plan at various factories. So as you can see, the audience decides the content of the dashboard. So this is a very important step or rule while we create a dashboard, which needs to be followed. Second rule: select the right type of dashboard. There are three common types of dashboard, which are operational or business dashboard, strategic or executive dashboard, analytical dashboards. Operational dashboards are basically for the operational side of a business. For example, a company with a business having a website, they need to ensure that the website remains up and running all the time. So their dashboard will include monitor server uptime and utilization. A company having an inside sales, the dashboard will include dedicated sales figures. The operational dashboard are more or less, they monitor the nerve center of an operation. Operational dashboards often require a perspective. It gives you a holistic picture how the company is performing. An analytical dashboard is nothing but a business or a strategic dashboard with a drill down facility. However, we should always make sure the drill down facility is always good to have, but it should not be used wherever and whenever we want. Using the right type of graphs or charts to represent the data is also important. Area or line charts should be used to represent trends. Bar charts can be used to compare the data across categories. Pie chart, donut charts are used to show proportional of whole. Selecting the right type of dashboard is also an important aspect of creating a graphical dashboard. A sample for you: usage of pie chart and a graph chart. Rule number 3: make data relevant. A production head will not be interested in knowing what an IT operations is doing. Similarly, an IT operations will not be interested, the IT head will not be interested in seeing how the production is moving, though it is related but not relevant for their particular department. So it is very essential that the data that is being represented is relevant to the audience, or else the dashboard will lose its value. Not just representing the relevant data is necessary. The data can be made relevant by presenting correlated data. For example, For example, presenting sales data along with the product-wise sales, or presenting sales region-wise sales will give you a better insight rather than presenting sales and an IT expense. The data which is being presented needs to cater to the intended audience and the scope of requirements. One should ensure that the 5-second rule is followed. When the data is relevant, the dashboard becomes useful, and a useful dashboard can actually lead to useful conclusions. Rule number 4, use space wisely. But how to use the space correctly and wisely? The basic that here needs to be understood is that we can group the data. We can group the data logically. For example, all the indirect expenses can be grouped. The sales as per region or product groups can be grouped together and shown. A well-designed dashboard will always ensure that the data is displayed in logical groups. For example, dashboards includes financial KPIs and sales pipeline. The financial data will always be grouped together and displayed next to each other. And within a sales pipeline, the data displayed together, the sales data will always be displayed together. This makes them that they are grouped in a separate logical manner. Grouping is often or normally done by the department or a functional area and can include product, sales, marketing, finance. Grouping finance expenses, GL code wise expenses, actuals and forecasts will help. For example, I'll show one of the dashboards which we created. This is a dashboard which we created for one of our clients. We created this chart which depicts revenue figures comparing actuals with budgets, or month-on-month comparison, or you can also compare revenue with expenses or EBITDA, and there are various other options. Though there is single graph, there are n number of options available on the left-hand side. We do not want to clutter the dashboard. We do not want to give excessive data. We wanted to use the space correctly and in an efficient manner so that it attracts the attention of the user. Though there are various options available, the user can use it, and the user can use it at his discretion. Grouping relevant data not only makes it easier to understand, correlate, and reach a person to logical conclusion, but it also helps the creator to use the space wisely. This is another example of how we have utilized space while creating a dashboard in one of our clients. There are only 3 charts in this particular dashboards. However, you can see the data which is represented are all financial data. You can, with an option of drop down, you can select any of the outlet. Not only you can select the outlet, this particular dashboard gives you a comparison of all these 3 things with the company. From each outlet can be compared with the company level data. Using space wisely is necessary. We should not clutter the screen with too many data points. Only the important matrix should be presented. Just giving out graphs is also a no. We can give some tables, however, it should not increase. We should not go beyond a particular size, or we should not try to fit in too much data. Using space wisely will always gain better attention and give more focus to the key points. Last rule, testing with the users. it is very essential, it is very important part of a dashboarding exercise. Testing not only gives the creator a better understanding of the requirements, but it also gives the user a chance to see if the requirements are being fulfilled properly or not. A dashboard should not only be user friendly, but it also needs to be iterative so that the user can change it whenever he wants. Testing signifies that the user knows the dashboard properly. Once the user signs off, we know that the data which is being represented in that particular dashboard is useful, and the final goal with that particular dashboard can be achieved. So from the advantages, what we have seen, what are the advantages of dashboards are, from the pitfalls that we have seen, and from the rules of creating an essential, from the rules of creating a meaningful and an effective dashboard, here are some of the key takeaways. Dashboards are not scorecards, so you should not enter too much of data in that. Only relevant data needs to be shown. Relevant data which is relevant to the particular user. It's all relative. Relative figures, when shown together, increase decision-making ability. Fourth point, you don't dream about Nawazuddin Siddiqui. Though he is a very good actor, he is a very fine actor, but normally you don't dream about Nawazuddin Siddiqui. You dream about John Ibrahim, you dream about Katrina Kaif. So it brings to a very, very valid conclusion that looks matter. Clear and crisp, all elements like gauges, color, highlights, fonts, heat maps, etc. should be able to communicate each and every item or the essence of the data properly. Dashboards should be actionable, and they should be actionable in such a sense that we can lead to a proper conclusion by itself. It is always good to have a drill down ability. A one size fits all approach does not work. Though it is good to have maximum data, but we should use more and more methods and devices to get proper data in a single screen. Just fitting on the data and cluttering the scene doesn't make the dashboard proper. Instead of that, we can create different dashboards for different departments, different users. Data should be refreshed quite often, depending on the usage of the dashboard. Data should be refreshed. It's my personal experience. All the figures should be shown in 1 minute. It's a simple step, but it surely makes your life easier. Dashboards are not the canvas for painting where you can use any color or all the colors. Keep it to bare minimum. Now, since we have understood how to create a dashboard, what are the rules for creating a dashboard, what are the advantages of a dashboard, what are the pitfalls which we should see while which we should focus on while we're creating a dashboard. Before moving on to the next round, before moving on to the next topic or the next point of this webinar, I would like to ask you, do people have any questions? You can message me the questions.
Right, thank you audience for being a part of the webinar so far. Our floor is now open for Q&A. If you have any questions for us, please feel free to type them in the panel provided.
Okay. Yes, we have a question from Arun, who mentions, can I please elaborate on drill down? So drill down facilities, for example, if you have got various regions or various categories or various products of sales. So what we usually do is the sales data which is represented to the management is just shown as one particular number, or we can show it the sales data across regions. The drill down facility is nowadays available with almost all the softwares, where you can drill down the sales, just for an example, you can drill down the sales numbers into various products, into various categories, inside a particular region, which countries you are selling, which country is selling the most. So drill down facility is something that gives you to the management, it gives a broader picture, and by drilling down you can get onto the entry level data also. So nowadays, since ERPs are mostly since dashboards are mostly linked to the ERPs, right from the top revenue, you can drill down to each and entry level. So these features are available. In the softwares nowadays. To focus on the right metrics, and but what lies in future of BI dashboards, basically the business intelligence dashboards. Mobile. With BIOD concept, that is bring your own device concept, becoming the norm, analytical dashboards will be available in smartphones and other mobile devices. Also, people on the go who are usually traveling can see the data from anywhere and everywhere on their mobile devices, on their iPads. If you can see, if you go out in the market, you will understand a lot of dashboard software companies are coming up with their mobile apps for the managers, for the top level management to see the dashboards on their own laptops, on their own tablets, on their own iPads. In one of our thank you, Srijit. Thank you for your question. Srijit has sent us a question. Since we have already started it, Srijit will take it up at the end. So we were talking about dashboards available on your mobile devices. We have also seen, in one of our clients where we are implementing this BI dashboards, one of our clients, we have actually taken licenses for the mobile apps for the key persons, which is actually very useful to them. Cloud-based reporting and analytics is again is deployed enterprise-wide to make workforce flexibility and ever-changing demands. Multi-tenancy and on-premise data management is becoming a routine deployment option for dashboards. Dashboards can get data since almost all the data is available on cloud. It's becoming easier and faster. Cloud-based dashboards are now being available. Location analytics. This is again a new trend that is coming up. Geographic visualization, ability to detect spatial trends and reporting in form of maps will give the world a dashboard with several dimensions. Spatial relationships are basically nothing but certain graphs which are mostly used in operational and business dashboards. It helps a person understand more and more hub and spoke model, and to get a better get onto a better hub and spoke model. Security is another feature which is with BYOD concept becoming more and more relevant. Security has become one of the key features in this particular dashboarding aspect. BI vendors are not only coming up with optimum data with dashboards which will provide optimum data, but also deploy stringent security standards while creating these dashboards. Wireframing. Wireframing is a concept which is now becoming very relevant, and it is asked by almost all the clients where we are servicing, where we are looking out for a dashboard, where we are implementing dashboards. What actually wireframing is? Wireframing is nothing but creating your own dashboards. Creating a dashboard is an intuitive exercise. Most of these softwares which you go in the market and you see, they are user friendly, they are easy to operate and understand. The software data, what actually the dashboarding software or dashboarding developer do. The software developer links the data which is available in your ERP at the backend and to the tables which are available in the software, in the BI software, in the dashboard software. And with this particular, since the data is available directly from the ERP, you can use and you can create wide variety of options to play with and create your own dashboard. Some of gauges and meters which we were used to use earlier are now out. They used to represent only a single data point, whether we are on track or whether we are off track, whether we are on target or not, whether we are on target or we are off target. Nowadays, various variety of charts like stacked bar charts, combo charts, Gantt charts are available. Various features like using secondary access in Excel, representing data timelines, win-loss, slicers in pivot tables are available, and that can be used to make data more useful. Another thing which is coming up in dashboarding is iconography. Iconography is a very interesting aspect that is coming up very rapidly in dashboarding business. What exactly iconography means? It's basically using various icons in a particular dashboard to depict a particular data. With iconography, the dashboard becomes more creative. The dashboard becomes more it becomes more viable for a person or the user to see it and to get it gets more attention of the user. Dynamic dashboards, as we have already discussed about wireframing, dynamic dashboards are again a feature which is available in almost all the softwares that are coming up. A dashboard needs to be interactive. Capabilities like zooming basically we can this capability of zooming is nothing but zooming a particular zooming a particular region. For example, if you have a global map available in front of you, you can zoom in that particular global in a particular area, and you can see data points in that particular map. Or else you can zoom the graphs available to graphs which are available. Other capabilities like drill downs, filters are becoming more commonplace. Some dashboards nowadays, some dashboards even utilize the social feeds to give a real-time picture. Earlier, we used to create numerous dashboards in Excel, but it is now becoming past dated. New and new softwares are coming in the market with variety of new features. This particular thing, that new and new softwares are coming up with variety of new features, bring me to the last part of the webinar, which is the dashboard industry. It's basically a multi-million-dollar industry. In foreign countries, if you will find n number of companies creating tools to cater to the requirements and develop requirements of the people, and various softwares with new features coming up on a day-to-day basis. For example, you can see Dundas, Power BI, ClickSense, Tableau. These are some of the softwares which keep on upgrading, and a few of them we as an implementation teams are also working with. SAP has its own BI. SAP has its own BI tool. The industry is growing. The need of the clients are becoming more and more complex. The need of the hour is becoming the needs of the clients is also increasing. And supply of the software, and not only the need or the demand is increasing, but the supply of the software is also tremendous. New companies are coming in the market with variety of features. Now it's up to you which dashboard to choose. This brings me to the end of this session, of this webinar. Any questions? I've got a few questions from Rajesh and Srijit. We'll take it up now. Srijit, thank you for the question again. Srijit has asked, if I don't have an ERP implemented, what systems can be used for input data files, Tally, CRM reports, website data to get MIS dashboard? Srijit, you can use various. As of now, if you don't have an ERP implemented, you can extract data from Tally. You can extract data, as you mentioned correctly. You can extract data from Tally. You can extract data from various CRM reports, website data. You've got n number of softwares which are being used. You've got production softwares which are being used. We have got production softwares, production analysis software which are there in the market and which your company is using. You can use that and you can extract data into Excel and you can create your own dashboard. A lot of dashboards which we have created are Excel based, but with an increasing demand, that we are also implementing various softwares. However, as of now, depending on the size of the company, depending on the requirements, depending on the data which you want to crunch, or the way you want to represent, you can choose either Excel to go ahead with. You can also choose or else you can choose a software. So, Mr. Rajesh, thank you for your question. He mentioned that he has joined a bit late and he missed out on important part. Is the dashboard made from data provided? Is the dashboard made from data provided by an Excel file, or is this from an accounting software? See, dashboards basically sit on the top of an ERP, on the top of an it's like a software which sits on the data server of an ERP. It extracts data from your ERP or the accounting software and then present the data the way you want, in a visual, in a very in a visual, in a better way. You can so a lot of softwares which are coming up, they have this facility to get integrated with a lot of ERPs. For example, SAP has its own BI tool. SAP has its. So if you go into the market, you will find a lot of softwares which are available pure for SAP. They directly get linked to the tables which are there in the tables which are there in SAP, and you can use the data. They extract the data from the ERP from SAP, and they present the data to you in a graphical way. If not that, there are tools, there are ways where you can import the data from the SAP or various other ERP packages and put it into an Excel sheet, and the accounting or the softwares can import the data from these Excel sheets also. Any other question? So thank you once again, everyone, for listening patiently and for giving your valuable time. Thank you, one and all.
Before we sign off, we'd also like to thank our partners for today, Ascent Foundation and Institute of Management Accountants. From MyCFO, we thank you all for being here. Rakesh has sent a query. Rakesh, what we will do is, since the time is over, we will cater to this query on a personal mail, and we will share a few dashboard templates for references. Thank you, everyone.